Yo, what up everybody, it's Theo Stewart, and today I'm doing another Metagore Monday. Today I'm talking about 5 of the new characters, which is in book 2 of my Metagore series, Sovereign Duties. There are more than 5 new characters, but I felt like these are the 5 that have the biggest role, and don't give off too much spoilers. These aren't in any kind of order or anything like that, so let's just get started. The first is Rudolph. Rudolph is a satyr. He's from Valkyrie, which is a small island nation kind of southwest of Metagore. They are not part of Metagore technically, but they have a lot of trade with them and are on good conditions. They're kind of like allies. And in the first book, Lore leaves Metagore and goes to Valkyrie, which is where she's originally from. And early on in book 2, she returns with a Valkyrie army, which is why she went. And Rudolph is the general leader of that army. So he's kind of like a warrior type of character. There's no war going on in the second book, so you don't really see him in combat or anything. But he's still like an advisor to Allure and the other rulers or whatever of Metagore, as well as he kind of has some interactions with the Marquess and some of the other lyrish characters. So he kind of plays a little bit of a role. He's not that important yet in the story, but I mean, he's introduced and he plays more of a role than just, a one-time, mention or anything. I mean, he's in the book. The next character is Zane. Zane is the person who is elected to take over as Marquess in Tallinn after book 1. And then he kind of moves his way up in position or whatever, kind of unwillingly in a sense, and partially willingly, I guess. But, it's kind of by accident. He didn't go in to try and do it. But he kind of moves up, and he is an ex-knight. So he's kind of got that militaristic background as well. And then he kind of finds out about a dragon, which I did not include in these 5, which is Jaloika. She is the newt dragon after the female dragon gets killed in the first book. There's always one male and one female dragon. So she is the new one. She is in Selene. That's where she's kind of birthed, I guess, in a sense. That's where she transcends or ascends into a dragon. And Zane is kind of trying to hunt her down, hoping that he could use her as a weapon in the war to come. So that's kind of Zane's kind of role, is still kind of like a leader as well as trying to capture this dragon. The third character is Josie. Josie is a character that I plan on incorporating in multiple stories, aside from my Metagore series, but in other ones, kind of connecting the different stories in a way. They might have nothing to do with the Metagore story, or the Metagore stories that she's in has nothing to do with the other stories, but it's the same character and you kind of see her in different phases of her life. But she is an ex-princess. She was actually heir to be queen or whatever after her mother and father had passed, but she was too young to actually hold the crown, so her uncle stepped in to hold it until she was of age. And then by the time she became of age, she decided she didn't really want that. She never really cared for that kind of lifestyle anyways. It's too proper for her. So she decided to not take it and leave her uncle as king. And then after that, she just kind of, did her own thing. And that's kind of where you meet her in book 2. She's kind of doing her own thing. She is introduced as an escort for one of the characters who travels to Lafir and is having to travel through the land to a certain village, and she's kind of as an escort, and there's some bonding there and this and that. So that's her. The fourth character is Garnett. Garnett is actually introduced in the first book a little bit. I can't really remember if he's actually named by name. I think he was, but I'm not 100% sure. But he didn't really have a role or anything in the book. He might have just been mentioned by name, so I'm classifying him as a new character. And he is one of the 11 children that Brighton and Kalama had. He's not the oldest, he's not the youngest, he's kind of somewhere in the middle. I think he was like the 4th or 5th. I can't really remember. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. but he's kind of somewhere in there. Not quite in the middle, maybe a little bit older than the middle, but you get the idea. But he is an Alestrian, since that's what his mother was. And he kind of steps up and takes on more of a political role, since his father had died and they had elected a new lord, and you know, the whole war and stuff from the first book. He's kind of trying to step into his father's shoes, and trying to become more of a political figure and trying to, you know, fight back for the crown, hoping to bring it back to his family in a sense. And then the last character is Jesenia. She's mentioned at one point in the first book about being a character who could see the future and this and that, without actually meeting her. And then she actually makes an appearance in the epilogue. It's just not mentioned that that's the same character or that's, you know, what her name is or anything. She's never named in the first book. But in second book she is, and you kind of reintroduced to her and stuff. And she is an oracle, so you can kind of see the future. She mentions that she can only see what is asked, so she doesn't know what's going to happen constantly. But if someone asks, you know, what's going to be the outcome of this or that or whatever, she can vaguely see what it is. It's kind of cryptid and all this kind of stuff, so she doesn't get a good image of it, but she can see a little bit. She pulls some of her hair out and it turns to water, and she stares at the water and kind of see these vague images of what's going on. So you get a couple of those type of prophecies in the second book, and those will carry on throughout the series, or at least into book 3. I don't really know too much of her role in book 4, but I know in book 3 there will be some more. So I know some of my alpha readers I've had, they enjoyed those. They thought they was kind of cool and kind of good little hints of what might come, but it's very vague, so you're like, I'm not sure what's going on, but now I'm more curious type ordeal. So yeah, she's a fun character. Plus I've intertwined her backstory with 2 of the existing characters, so you kind of see more of a dynamic of who they was, like their history and backstory, and why she was no longer there, why she had left but now has came back, and this and that. So it's a fun little intertwining of pieces, I guess. But that is the 5 main characters, I guess, that I've added that's basically new for book 2. So yeah, hope y'all enjoy this. All my links are down below. Buy my debut novel, The Battle for Metagore, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those fun places. All that stuff is down there. And yeah, guess that's about it. Peace out. Yoli. Everybody love everybody.